Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Newton Classroom Podcast. Stay tuned.
Good morning, Sapna ma'am. How are you doing?
I'm all well, Sanjay. Good morning to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking out time and being a part of this podcast.
I'm equally excited to talk about because you mentioned that you're going to ask me some tough questions too. So let's see. The life has been pretty tough. So I'm looking forward for those tough questions. Yeah.
I don't know if it's tough, but it's just with a curious point of view because I have not met many, or I would say any educators who create content on YouTube. And it's an interesting journey. I'm going to talk about that a little later. But before that, I want to talk about your thoughts on problem solving, your the finance, right? And you actively talk about all of these things on your channel and on your socials. So please tell us a little about that.
Thank you so much, Sanjay, because, when you ask about YouTube, I'll come a little later when you ask. Okay, so now when we talk about problem solving, so this is one of the most required thing for children. And when I say children and learners of all age groups, what happens is, the process is changing, right? With the new NEP coming in, with the NCFs coming in, there could be limitations, but then there are a lot of things which are changing. And I understand those changes. I'm trying to help people. But what I've seen is most of the times we tell the children what to do. Yeah. We tell them what are they supposed to do for the competitive exams and their professional exams, how they have to clear it. And once they are there, now they are left over there. So no, the real life is all about problems and problem solving. Yeah. One thing which I learned in my life that, we cannot solve the problems together. Problem never comes alone. It is something like उप देने वाला जब भी देता छप्पर फाड़ के तो problem भी छप्पर फाड़ कर आती है. And what happens is you cannot solve. Yeah. What we have to do is you have to pick up one element of it, try to solve it, and the things start falling. Right. But we never teach this to children. And that is why there's so much of stress, puzzled, and they feel helpless. Right. I think that's very, very important. Right. Another aspect which you mentioned was financial literacy. Yeah. I have seen people, and in fact, when I say people, even I was one of them. As an educator, I used to say, I can do everything, but I can't talk about money. I think we've been brought up like that. Money was a bad thing. Nobody talks about money, and especially in education. Oh, no. Yeah. It's like, and you do good work. But then there's something called as an entrepreneurial mind, business people, and I've started loving them. They have so much of productivity in mind. The sick unit or a sick business, the businessman or an entrepreneurial mind would put a lot of hard work, strategize it, and take it to productivity. Right. So, money is never a bad thing. And then you can give it to my age, to give it to my years also. And nothing religious. I mean, I don't look as it is very religious. No, I'm like quite hip kind of a person also with the children. Children, maybe Benji types also at points of time. It's okay. But then I read about, I remember my grandparents telling me about that Saraswati ji and Lakshmi ji, they are friends. They're sisters. So wherever Saraswati ji is there, Lakshmi ji automatically follows. Later in my life, I realized that Lakshmi ji is pretty chanchala. She's an energy. And she doesn't stay there for long where people don't help her growing. She likes to grow, and so does Saraswati. So we say that Saraswati ji baantne se badhti hain. You exchange views, you grow. Similarly, Lakshmi ji also grows with a lot of productivity. So there has to be like this. So when I talk about financial literacy, I've authored My Peso book series for financial literacy, that is grades 1 to 8. People have been asking me questions. Such little children, I said, a child understands money once the child is in senses. Yeah. Because for every puja, we are doing something and the child is observing that this is power. In case you allow me, I have a very small story. Once upon a time, there was a grandparent, and this grandparent used to take little child time and again outside for a stroll. Sometimes while coming back, used to buy him something. And the child observed that there's a currency which the grandparent exchanges with the shopkeeper. One fine day, grandparent was very occupied, and he said to the parents that you take him along, and handed a note, a currency note in the child's hand. And the child, clasped it. So mom said that, no, give it to me, baby. I'll purchase you something. It drops. And the child says no. Father said the same thing, and the child says no, because child knew the power is over here. All through the way, the child probably must have strolled with the parents. While coming back, parents asked, would you like to buy something? Probably the child knew the shop, said, pointed out, handed over that currency to that shopkeeper, bought it back. So it's something very simple. The child understands. We cannot say that, the child, and it's something like just to shun it away. So that is it. And skills, life skills. We are in the year 2024, just another year. A quarter of the century would be away, and we are still talking about 21st century skills. So I think it's essentially important to start.
Incredible. All the skills that we talked about. It's interesting, and I think those skills are very important for students now and the kids now. So when we're talking about the future of education, so what do you think the future of education and the future of schools will be like in India?
Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you for this question. It helps me actually go back more than 2 decades of my being present in education, and I'm so glad. And of course, I was much before that as a student too. But then what happened way back, what is happening now, and what is going to happen? So, for a couple of more years, there'll be these core subjects which are going to exist. And when I talk about core subjects, I talk about mathematics, sciences, social sciences, and languages. But then very soon, and this change is going to happen so fast, probably we'll not realize. So the challenge is, are we ready? And that is what I'm talking about, the skill curriculum. And we talk about design thinking, we talk about problem solving, we talk about financial literacy, we talk about life skills, decision making. All these things will come as skill curriculum, and even they'll be assessed. So we require so much of preparation. We need the right curriculum. We need trained teachers to be dealing with it, because probably the teachers are not trained with the skill curriculum. They know how, they have expert subject competency, but not this. And we also need evaluators and assessors. So, what is happening with these skill curriculums, and what is the expertise? So there's a whole lot of things which is going to change. So I'm very excited. Fortunately, for 2 reasons. One, because you also mentioned about design thinking, and one, I am heavily into skill curriculum, and it's been a journey of nearly 2 years plus into research and creating about this. So yeah, we are there.
Incredible, incredible. And of course, like you said, for schools to be ready, you said that the skill courses are very necessary. Now, I want to talk about the content creation journey of yours, because given the age, quite honestly speaking, given the age, definitely, and the resistance to technology, and up to a certain age, to adapt something new, and then to do it so beautifully on YouTube. And I love how animated your expressions are on YouTube. It's beautiful. So how did that happen?
Yeah, the word animated comes from a design. So thank you. Okay, so you take me back to January 21. That was post-COVID. And how it happened is, my elder son, who's a grown-up boy, he's a professional. So he said that, Mom, you're missing your conferences and the talks which you do. I said, yes, I'm. So he said, why don't you start contributing on YouTube? And honestly, my first reaction was, hey, YouTube is not for educators. It is for entertainment. It is for, so many other things. And he said, Mom, you're going to regret after a while if you sustain it. Wow. So I did start a couple of my few videos. I was talking to everybody else but the camera. Because I was like a public speaker. I'm still a public speaker. So I was not talking to the camera. And then I realized that this is the world. And I started talking and addressing. All what I did is, because I'm a research-based person, as I just said, I started making complex things simple. So it took me effort, because I'm used to speaking for hours together, to bring it into bite size, like 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 7 minutes, 3 minutes. And it helped me. I said, yeah, that's actually crisp. The rest was all jargon, which we normally tend to speak because there's a lot of interaction which happens in regular classes. So, YouTube journey, if you allow me, what all I have not heard.
Please share, please share.
So, 3.5 years plus in this, I've heard people telling me, if you're an educator, how do you get even time to go on YouTube? It was like, so I remember somebody telling that when you start a journey, you'd be ready to be criticized. People will not even appreciate you they'll appreciate you once you are in a position or you've gained something. So I am still experiencing. But now there's a responsibility because there are a couple of teachers. I started for the stakeholders, teachers. I felt, not necessarily every teacher has a lot of money to spend on workshops and conferences. So how can I help? So YouTube is all free and, they can. I wanted to reach to that every single child. When I say child, the youth, because they don't know. I mean, people are just telling them, this is good for you, this is good. What are the policies? What are these complex things? If they exactly know what is NEP all about or what are the future policies, they get excited. So there are a lot of children, a lot of youth who, then the parents. Right. Because, the teachers and parents, we all come from a different generation, even the century. So we've learned over there and we are helping this youth. And this youth is a futuristic youth. They are biliterates. They understand technology so fast. We don't like to take risks with technology. While they say that, what is going to happen? By far, what is going to happen? So that is how this generation is. So YouTube has been a very good teacher for me. YouTube has taught me how to be more honest, more crisp, more responsible, right? And to be sustained over there. It has taught me the discipline once again. Because the algorithm, that is how they say, it shakes up if you are not disciplined. So, you have to be there. So, and of course, YouTube opens it's a Pandora box. It opens a lot of things. People know you. Now, people have all the right to know that who you are. So it's not just the name. We have evidence. We've created a lot of facts over there. So there's a lot of trust which is coming. Right. And, I can go on speaking because it's been a new teacher and the teacher is a hard taskmaster. So is YouTube. But then, it's a great platform.
It's incredible to actually have a person like you with so much experience, who's won awards, who's been talking to students, doing public speaking, giving talks, and all of these workshops and all of these things that you do, say that I've learned this. Talks about the learning mindset that one should have as a person, as an educator. She has, like you mentioned, it's incredible, and I'm really happy to have had this conversation with you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Sanjay. We had only read those things. No, we have to learn till the time we are there on earth. But actually, this journey helps us learn more. And trust me, being on social media and when you start talking about certain things, you have to learn every single day because you cannot give wrong datas. You cannot give anything wrong. And there have been people who say that they have started trusting my content. And that's an achievement. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for taking out time and being a part of this podcast and sharing your story. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sanjay. Jai Hind to all. Thank you.
My father had just given me one piece of advice that first, एक साल नौकरी कर लो. I never had in my wildest of dreams thought that I would become a teacher. So the pyramid being, don't focus on exams first. Go from explore, enjoy, enhance, then exams. After an hour, he would come back with a cup of tea in his hand and then tell me, now ask me questions. It's a very deep statement. Love is time. Whatever you spend time with, you will fall in love with it.